loading snacks.
What it do, snaggers and snaggettes? It's your boy Gage. I'm here with the homie Sin.
Yes, sir.
Jokes is running late,
As
which
per
is
usual.
becoming a thing.
Yeah, as per
It's
usual.
cool. You are now tuned in to Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today, do it. Sin.
Today.
My man, look at that. Fill in the blanks. You feel me? We're gonna talk about Fast 9. We're gonna talk about movie theaters coming back or not or whatever. We're gonna talk about the Shang Chi trailer 2 that released. A couple other things that are on the block. First and foremost, let me show a little love to Cuddy here. My man said, "Give Sin like 3 minutes, like I used to do jokes about wrestling."
Hey, look, I'm not jokes, so we're not doing
We just
that.
call Loki episode 3. That's no problem. Listen, we cannot dig. I mean, we could dig into Loki episode 3, but I feel like that would be doing a disservice.
Nah, if you want that, you gotta go to Spoiler Boys. See, that's what all that stuff is.
Which we know Cuddy did.
Yeah, we know he did. Yeah.
And please know we're doing Spoiler Boys for episode 4 tonight.
As soon as we wrap this up, yes.
Oh man, and are there some buddy, Cuddy. Yeah. So we definitely got some things to talk about, but I could give Sin just like 3 straight minutes. I'm pretty sure I used to only give jokes like a single minute, like a 60-second. I'm pretty sure that's all I used to give him. But we can give Sin like 3 straight minutes to talk about Fast 9 though. We can do that. I know you went and saw it. Listen, where is your daggone Lego?
It's right here, but the way the screen's set up, they can't see it, but it's sitting right here.
Are you scared to pick it up?
No, it's right here. Yeah, Dom Shaw just sitting right here, baby.
Hey, listen, Heather, all that TVA out there in the open. Hey, listen, bro, that is a pretty sweet build, bro.
Yeah.
All in all, not real time, just in terms of the amount of time you actually spent working on it. How long you think it took you to put it together? I know you wasn't like keeping track, but how long you think it really took you to put it together?
Honestly, probably 2 hours a piece for each stage overall.
So it's what, 4 stages?
Yeah, so
like 8 hours.
About 8 total, yeah. Probably a little less than that because the first one, since that was my first time really diving back into Legos, probably took me a little bit longer. Once I got the rhythm down, that was rolling through them pretty quick.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'll say a generous 8 hours.
Okay,
on and
I
off.
dig that.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, y'all. I know y'all want to talk about Loki. That's why we have MCU chat and have places for y'all to go in there, talk about spoilers. I know y'all want to talk about Loki. All I'm gonna say is after credit scene. That's what I'm gonna say right now. If you haven't done it already, make sure when you watch it, you stay through. Listen, it's a telling thing. Let me just throw a little something at y'all. It's a telling thing with these series on Disney Plus that if they change the song up for the end credits, you probably should stick around.
Regardless, the second the end credits hit, I just hit the little button, just start moving through it. All right, come on, just let me just see. Because sometimes it'd be like 9 minutes left, but then it'd be all credits. Like,
well, that's because they do like a regular credits, and then after the main credits, they do like all the international credits and all that kind of stuff or whatever. That's why the credits run so long. But yeah, J. Robert Deans, I'm a highly suggest you find a way to make time for that joint tonight. Yeah, there is no excuse to miss the credit scene on streaming, but people be in a hurry. Like they look at it and they just go like, "Ah, man, why is there so much time left? It's just the credits," and they just jump ship. Which again, there's no reason to miss it in the theater either. You ain't got nowhere to go. You really don't have nowhere to go.
After all this time, everybody knows to look out for the end credit scene. It's common knowledge now.
Hey, Leah, listen, how are you? Thank you for joining us from the ER. That's a big deal.
You should be resting at.
In my heart, yeah. Hopefully you are resting and watching us, and we don't cause too much commotion. So they run around in the hospital like, what's going on in her room?
Right. They come in.
Yeah. I I feel like by this point, you know when it's time to leave like a movie theater, like you just know it's just gonna be that it's just gonna be a bunch of people trying to get out at the same time and a bunch of people in their car. You sitting in the parking lot like you're not going nowhere. So just sit and enjoy, watch the credits. Finish the popcorn because you know your popcorn not gone. And you know you're gonna leave it in there for some little kid to clean up anyway, which ain't right. But you know what I mean? So at least finish the most of it, you know what I mean, or whatever, before you get up and leave and see something you otherwise would miss. I will say this. Before we get any further in the Fast 9, I do actually have to touch on something that I'm a little bit upset about, but I'm also very excited about.
What's that?
Did you see WandaVision? Did you see they updated the end credits for WandaVision?
I haven't had a chance to go back and look at it, but I did see that they switched things up. Yeah.
Okay. So if you're not aware or if you haven't seen it, the end credit scene for the last episode of WandaVision has been updated essentially to include Doctor Strange, which I find is tricky. Like they didn't tell anybody.
No.
But
they just did it.
This in and of itself is the kind of thing that is kind of a problem with digital distributions. They could just swap stuff on you. You know what I mean? They could just change it and you don't have that version of it anymore. Mm-hmm. So that's tricky. But nah, listen.
Hey, look, jokes ain't here. This ain't for all that right now.
Yeah, like we ain't.
This ain't for all that.
When jokes finally decides to show up, then we can talk about what's happening with Beast War. And let me just say, Ron Perlman is a gem. He is a gem. I mean, the only reason why I associate him even with the word Beast is because of him playing Beast in Beauty and the Beast, the TV show. Other than that, right now, get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Yeah, dog. Strange. Yeah. Yes, go back and watch it. They updated it like last week. Just like sneak attacked it and updated it. So yeah, you should go back and check that out, Cuddy. So listen, let's talk Fast 9. Well, wait, not really. I mean, yes, I'm gonna talk about it a little bit, but mostly, Hellboy is also a Ron Perlman gem, straight up. And yes, he still looks like Hellboy outside of the makeup, as he does Beast. Sin,
what's that show he was on? Yeah,
talk to me about Fast 9. I want you to start by just giving me your overall impressions.
Well, let me start with this. If you are not a fan of the franchise, this will do nothing to sway that in any way, shape, or form. You're still not going to like it whatsoever. Now, with that being said, I really enjoyed it a whole lot. Like straight up, right now off of just my initial viewing, I put it up there with 4, 5, and 6, and that's what I consider like the top 3 joints. I put it up there.
Number 1.
I think most people probably go with 5 being number 1. My personal favorite is number 1 in that order. 4, 5, and 6 are my personal.
Okay.
My personal 1, 2, and 3. But no, I put it up there. I put it up there with them. There's a lot of stuff in it for longtime fans of the franchise, which I really enjoy, like cameos from a lot of characters from throughout the franchise. I really enjoyed. They tell the story of Dom and Jacob through flashback scenes, which I thought was really cool. So you get to see like where the beef started from, and it takes you back to like the very beginning, like when his father died on the track and he beat the dude up with the wrench or whatever. You get to see that whole thing come to fruition. Yeah, you get to see that whole thing happen and everything. And it's kind of cool with everybody being so young back then. You get to see like the original cast that was back then, like younger, you know what I'm saying, like how they looked back then. That was really cool.
So wait, they digitally?
Nah, just actors, but you knew like who they were supposed to be. Like,
okay. It was other people. It wasn't the original actors.
No, they were like kids back then.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So it was cool, you know what I'm saying, like seeing little stuff like that and everything. I did appreciate like how they treated Paul Walker not being there, but his character still being alive with little stuff like him, like Dom talking to somebody, mentioned somebody owed him a 10-second card. That kind of put a smile on my face because I do miss Paul Walker. And of little cameos about them, like, oh, who's gonna watch the kids? And they're cool. They're with the most safest person on the planet. They're with Brian. You ain't got to worry about that. He got the kids. We're gonna go take care of what we got to take care of. Just little stuff like that. I thought was cool, just to keep the character and his memory alive and everything. Now I would say, like, as far as like the trailers, like those over the top stunts in the trailer, when I see the whole like stunt pan out, I'm like, okay, that's not as bad. Now I will completely keep it a buck. There were some things in it I would see. It was like come on, son. Like, I'm having a great time here, but I gotta call bullshit on that one. You know, like just stuff like that. It was a moment where I was like, hey, look, Dom could whoop Batman's ass. I'm sorry. Like, it's just unbelievable. Like, some of the stuff he gets away with, but it's all in great fun, all entertaining.
They superheroes, right?
He might as well be at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but the end credit scene, there is an end credit scene. We were just talking about that. Has me so amped for the last movie, the part 1, part 2, whatever, that they start shooting next year, whatever. Has me amped of how they're going to cap this whole thing off. I have my own speculations, but I'm excited. Like I said, overall, if you're a fan of it, it's worth it. It's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, Perp, listen. First, John Cena and Vin Diesel, very convincing as half Spanish.
Well, it's touched on.
God, he wants to know, what order was he? Cena younger than sister or older?
Well, Cena is older than Mia. He's older.
His explanation was terrible.
Oh, with Mr. Nobody faking his death. Okay, like, yeah, they made it a little more convoluted than they had to. Like, really, you just say Mr. Nobody faked his death. Okay, we get it. We know who Mr. Nobody is or whatever. But cool, he faked his death. That's how he's back. Faked his death for, something pertaining to the movie. So, got it. I get it. But overall, the action was top notch. The hand-to-hand fight scenes, the car scenes, like, it was, like I said, Justin Lin put his foot in it. Glad he's back, in the director's seat, helming this thing. So, Han Solo, Fast 9 now.
One time, real quick, just everybody prayers up for Leah. Again, we really appreciate you watching this from PR. Like I don't even know. Yeah. I don't even know. Like I can imagine you just don't have anything better to do because you're sitting in the ER. But we appreciate you nonetheless. Again, just wishing you a speedy recovery across everything. So here's what I want to talk about as far as Fast 9 is concerned.
Fast 7 was best way to. No, Fast 9 was the worst one out of all of them to me. No.
Wait, Fast 9 is the worst one?
Sorry, Fast 7. Fast 7.
Fast 7 is the worst of all of them joints?
Yeah, to me. Yeah.
Thanks, Aaliyah. Here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what opening weekend was like for Fast 9.
Okay.
So Fast 9 opened with a $70 million opening weekend, 3-day weekend, which is leaps and bounds ahead of everything else that's come out. Theaters are starting to open back up. And this is a little bit less about Fast 9 than it is about the state of theaters and what's going on and what the rest of the summer looks like. I am currently wondering whether or not Fast 9's opening weekend at 70 million is the top of what you think we're going to see this summer. I say that because at 70 million, how much of that 70 million was sin? Like $10, maybe 20, something like that.
Not if I go back.
Yeah. Perp says it's weird how the media doesn't count Demon Slayer when that's made over 500 million worldwide. Well, we're just talking opening weekends here in the US. And actually, I've read an article that actually did include Demon Slayer. Actually brought Demon Slayer up as something that did bring a lot of people to the theater and did prove that people are hungry for that kind of thing. But again, as much money as it made, you just have to remember that like anime is still extremely niche in the grand scheme of things. A lot more people know it and know what it is, but it's still very niche. And unfortunately, until they dumb it down some and make anime the kind of thing that people who aren't into it can understand, as ridiculous as that sound, it will more or less stay that way, at least here, at least amongst the mainstream population. It will stay the way it is.
Then don't dumb it down. Let them just learn and figure out like the rest of us. Then don't do that.
Nah, they're gonna dumb down. I mean, it'll happen because there's money to be made in it. So it will get dumbed down. And the reason why it's gonna get dumbed down is because Americans are sticking their hands in it and making their own studios and starting to try to follow the trend. And so what is happening and what will continue to happen to anime is it'll get dumbed down. There will still always be the full on, if you want the full quote unquote real experience, it'll still exist. But in terms of what will make the most money and get the most eyes and stuff like that, it will probably be stuff that you absolutely hate because you don't feel like it's the real thing. It's the same thing that happens with music. It's the same thing that's happened in movies. You know what I mean? It's the same way people felt about the MCU when the MCU first hit, or the way X-Men movies were when they first came out. And we were very like, nah, that's not how they did it in the comic books and all that, whatever. And over time, you realize that dumbing down so that people can actually come to the theater and enjoy it is the only thing that has allowed it to get to the point where it is now. So in order for it to grow and to continue, it's going to happen. There's just no way around it. But it also does mean that you're going to have things like influences that come from other places. You're going to have influences that come from other cultures, influences that come from, you know, having people of color or have, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. You're going to have other people that put their own twist or do their own thing with it that is going to quote unquote muddy the waters first before you begin to see a divulgence where people start to name it, you know, this is this kind of anime and this kind of anime and this kind of anime, which is happening some already anyway, but like it's gonna have it. Yeah, like Dragon Ball Super. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, again, you're gonna continue to see stuff like that. Now, it's not as bad as it could be, because you have stuff like Netflix that allows people to see at least a version of anime as it exists. But you also have to keep in mind that like what we get on Netflix here in America is different from what they get on Netflix in Japan. It's different from what they get in India. It's different from what they get. You know what I mean? Like we get a version of it, and that's how it's been for a long time with anime. Is you get a version of it. You know what I mean? We talked about One Piece and having a lollipop, you know, a cigarette replaced with a lollipop, or, you know, things like that, right? But if you're going to put it on American TV, if you're going to deal with American censors, you know what I mean? Stuff like that just is kind of how it is. So eventually it will grow. How are you? I'm awesome. We're doing a show. You going to watch? Okay, cool. I think I'm getting ready. What's that? What do you got? What are you showing me? Oh, dope. Okay. I'll talk to you in a little bit. So yeah, Cuddy says, so theory, let's move. Since Shaw isn't really a bad guy, Hobbs and Shaw we saw in the past, he was set up, kind of played his hand like Sharon Carter Power Broker. Where you at on that?
I could see that. Well, I think all that's going to come into play in the next movie because Shaw was part of the end credit scene. So whatever he was quote unquote working on and the surprise he was left with at the end of it, I think all that'll like start to take shape and play his hand in the next one. Yeah.
Perf says manga has already killed Western comics. It's only a matter of time before anime. That's the same same each year. It gets bigger and bigger. Yes, it was, dear. I'll tell her you said hi when I see her because she's not here, or you could text her because you can do that. So here's my thing. Right now, for the rest of the summer, the only two major movie releases that are scheduled to come out that aren't dual releases, and when I say dual releases, I mean coming to theater and coming to some home streaming platform, are Snake Eyes and Free Guy. And I don't have either one of those.
Neither one of them put the fast numbers. Nah.
Neither one of them. I certainly think Snake Eyes will get closer than Free Guy, but I don't think either one of those does it. Beyond that, okay, we have Black Widow, Space Jam 2, Suicide Squad, Jungle Cruise, but all of those have simultaneous theater as well as home streaming platform releases to Disney Plus and HBO Max. So while I do believe there's a possibility that a Black Widow could certainly outdo what Fast does, it has a dual release. Space Jam, I mean, listen, in the summertime, with kids home and trying to find something to do with them when you've been stuck in the house with them, Space Jam, I believe, has potential. It could beat all of them. There's a slim possibility Jungle Cruise also could, which again would be one of those things where The Rock goes, ha ha, look at you. You thought your Fast and the Furious was better than what The Rock can do. When The Rock comes out and does something, you know what I mean? Like, certainly could turn into a thing. Yeah, HBO Max, and Disney Plus. So HBO Max has the Space Jam and Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad, again, potential, but not something for kids. I don't think it outdoes. I just don't think that it has the same potential, personally, to do what Fast does. So my question, what's up, Marcus?
Perp. I think Cypher is just going to be the main bad guy to end it all out. I think she is. I won't be surprised they don't add nobody else big to it and just, here's our players. We're going to end it all out. Think some people are going to die, and that's
as it should be. As it should be when you close the joint out. Listen, there's going to be more spinoffs.
Big fast. Yeah,
there's going to be more spinoffs. It'll keep going. And listen, I really loved The Mummy. J. Robert Dean's.
Big fan.
I love that movie. Brendan Fraser put his whole foot in that joint.
Facts.
He did that.
I've been down to watch that again recently too.
Like Marcus, I don't think Mari's here. Maybe she is. I don't know. She hasn't said anything yet. She's probably upset about mayonnaise or something like that. Eating Burger King. Who knows? Here's the other thing. Outside of that, we know Shang Chi is coming in September. We know that No Time to Die is coming. The Bond joint that got pushed back. But what we don't know, we haven't been told whether or not they're going to get simultaneous releases. Only going to be theater, or they're only going to be, or they're going to be both. And so realistically, I mean, again, things are opening back up, and it depends on what happens. Look, if you seen what's happening in like Australia right now, like they're shutting stuff back down because of the variant and all that kind of stuff. Who knows? You know what I mean? But if things keep progressing the way they are currently in the US, then again, we could certainly see a full-on resurgence of theaters and what they're like. The question is, based on where we are now, would we see anything based on what's slated to come out that will do better than what Fast put up? Hey, Perp, listen. Let me just say.
Yeah.
No, sir. All I can do is laugh at that. You know I like you, Perp.
I agree, Tony. I think Black Widow could if it wasn't for the dual release. Yep. I think that's what's gonna, anything with a dual release is not gonna. Space Jam, I agree with B because of the kid factor and taking kids out and stuff like that. I do believe that has a chance to top it, but it's the dual thing that what's gonna hurt it. Outside of that, Shang Chi has a possibility. I know the Asian community and the MCU fans like ourselves are really excited to see it. So they're going to show up in droves for that. So I would put my money right now towards Shang Chi because of that.
Yeah, I mean, look, realistically, I think people have really been waiting for Black Widow. The reviews have already started hitting. I've been trying to avoid them, but the reviews are already out. You know what I mean? It comes out next week. So, we'll see what happens. Again, we're a couple of weeks into summer vacation for most kids. People can go back out and do things. So, people go away, they go on trips. Maybe they go to the theaters while they're away. Maybe they don't. Maybe rules are a little bit different, where you can and can't wear masks and how many people, all of that stuff is going to play a factor. I don't think by any means Black Widow will be a failure. I can tell you right now that you already have a ticket to go see Black Widow. It's not for opening weekend. My current intention is to watch that joint at home opening weekend. And I have a ticket for like 2 weeks later. So I don't think the movie itself is going to do bad. I mean, like, if you look at what happened with like Raya, The Last Dragon, like they certainly didn't have, I think that joint did like 40 million or something like that in the theater. I don't, and then most people watch it at home. But the difference with Disney versus what's happening with HBO is that with HBO Max, you can watch at no additional cost when those movies come out. With Disney, you have to pay them a $30 fee to get the movie beforehand. The other thing that is a factor here is that the amount of time between the theater release and the release to streaming services, even if the movie itself is, what's up, jokes? Even if the movie itself is not going to a streaming platform first, has been lessened from like 90 days to like 45 days, meaning that people don't have to wait as long. Like if they don't go to the theater and they don't have the streaming service, or they don't pay the premium price to get it right away, they don't have to wait anywhere near as long. So, you know, if Black Widow for you is something you want to see, but you're not going to the theater, and if you decided you're not going to pay $30 to get it, then literally by the end of August, you can just watch it at home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or something like that. Like those, it's very different right now. So Perv says,
shut up, Mark.
So you're saying that Halloween Kills doesn't have potential to be a huge hit for this year. What I'm saying is that Halloween Kills doesn't have the potential of any of the rest of the movies that I've mentioned.
Yeah.
Can it be a hit? Yes. Will its release around Halloween be important? Yes.
Yes.
But is it gonna be bigger than Shang Chi? No. Perp. No. Why would Halloween Kills be big? Like, you know what? Just what do you mean, dog? I don't understand the question. I'm confused. Will it be good? Yes. But horror as a genre certainly doesn't come close to holding the same place with most people as like action adventure. You know what I'm saying? Or an action movie or whatever. Purge could be good, but again, Purge ain't gonna do Black Widow numbers, Shang-Chi numbers. Like that's just, it's not happening. Purge, real talk. The Purge as a whole, as a series, is a rented series. Rent that joint, watch it at home, stream it joint. That is not a joint you go to the theater.
I've honestly never even watched any of them. I don't know. I never had to drive to. Yeah, I just never had to drive to actually watch them.
And my man said, listen, side note, highly recommend y'all check out Fear Street Part 1 this weekend on Netflix. Listen,
hell no.
Fear Street joint, clearly not for you. But it's like, never mind, dog. I'm not getting ready to try to convince you. I don't even know why I waste my time. The Fear Street joint has a lot of potential. It does, especially having 3 separate parts released over time. I think Netflix has a gem on their hands here, for sure. I really feel like there's a good chance that right now we may have seen the best the theaters are going to get for this summer in Fast.
Agreed.
It's totally possible. Totally possible. My man said he'd do it if I had another one. So I have a question. Does Shang-Chi get a dual release? Is it going to be in theaters and on Disney Plus?
I think it all depends on the state of the country at the closer we get to it. Like I said, with the new variant popping up, I think they'll keep an eye on it. And if it turns out that it's going to be a thing, they'll do the dual release. If not, they'll keep it straight to theaters, try to get the theater money.
Jokes, what about you?
That's what I'm at this point. I don't think it will. Think it'll get
a dual release?
I think it'll get a single, unless just like Sen said, if everything makes a 180 and goes the opposite direction, that would probably be the only way that it would get it. But as of now, it's only going to get a theatrical release. I know Marvel at this point now, after seeing how it works, if they do it on the digital streaming service, the issue kind of is, it really is just where the world is at that point in time. We hope for the best, but I think they're going to push it and just go straight theater, because the MCU, they're not trying to push this slate back again. Like everything has gotten delayed.
That's not going to happen. Yeah, they're not going to put the slate back.
Everything's gotten delayed, and I know at this point now that is not in the books to try to keep doing that again. So this is going to get pushed straight out.
I mean, realistically, they pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. You know what I mean? To the point, like, we got no MCU films last year, and now they're getting ready to smack us in the head with them like every other month.
Movies and TV shows, all.
Yeah, I mean, Perp, that's the whole thing, right? China's not messing with Disney right now, so they probably have to put it on Disney Plus. Listen, I don't know if that's. I mean, we're not even necessarily talking about worldwide release. We're just talking about US in terms of like the amount of money they can bring in. The state of the rest of the world is a whole other question mark. Currently, as far as like where they are with, you know, people getting vaccinated and all that kind of stuff, and whether they open or not, like that's a whole other thing. But I do think that there's a good chance that, yeah, I mean, you see it hit, you know, Disney Plus. If things aren't open, at least you may see it hit Disney Plus outside of the country. It might not hit it here. It could just be that they do it outside of the country based on, you know, how things are going. Also, I want to just kind of reiterate that we're not just talking about movies for the rest of the year and what's going to make the most money. We're talking about summer blockbusters. We're talking about movies for the summer. You know, stuff that's coming out in July, August, you know, even Halloween, like that's further away. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about stuff that would be the kind of stuff that if it was releasing would be in the running for, oh, this is the summer blockbuster. This is the movie to get. And I brought up something like No Time to Die because even though it's further out, it just happens to be one of the bigger titles slated that right now we don't know what they're going to do with it as far as if it's just going to be theaters or not. But right now it looks like it's just theaters, and we'll have to see.
I think that's going to be just theaters. The only thing now with with Amazon getting a hold of MGM now, you know, that actually could be a switch. That could actually go to Amazon Prime. And I could that actually I almost forgot about that. Bond may actually do both, and that may be their one to test the waters to see how it works for them.
Totally possible, right? But it also depends on how long it takes for that deal to go all the way through. You know what I mean? When they announce those kinds of deals because they're publicly traded, like they have to announce them. They have to put it out there. But like realistically, for you know, the FCC and everybody to make sure the approvals go through and all that kind of stuff happens. Like if you look at again, like what happened with Microsoft and ZeniMax, they announced it in like last August, and it didn't go through until like March. Right. You know what I mean? So even though the paperwork was signed and both sides agreed to it and whatever, it takes time for that kind of stuff to go through, and we don't know for sure whether or not it's going to happen in time for it to affect the bond release. Yeah, the bond.
And that's true.
What happens with that? Cuddy, I agree. You're right. Here in the DMV, you know, 70% of people vaccinated. That's great. And so it could do well here and not necessarily do well everywhere else. It still depends, and that still means that as a whole, movie theater companies are in a tight situation and are in flux. So it's hard to say. Yeah, listen, I know Six Flags is doing real well currently because again, people are tired of being cooped up. But that also doesn't mean that people are ready to go from being cooped up to going and sitting somewhere cooped up next to other people for 2 hours.
True.
You know what I mean? Like going to a theme park is not the same thing. So again, people want to be out and about. So like if you can go spend a day at the theme park and then come home and watch Black Widow,
that's a different story.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody just like, all right, let's all everybody come over and let's, you know what I mean? Like it could be very different. Perp said, I think Black Widow will get close to 100 mil opening weekend, maybe 85 to 90. Listen, I think you are absolutely right that if there's something that's going to do it, Black Widow is the one. Black Widow is the one that has potential. Now, releasing just after 4th of July, not necessarily bad. Shang Chi at the very end of the summer, releasing just before Labor Day, has potential.
Good placement.
I think that the opening weekend for Black Widow could be incredible. And I think that, yes, people might go to see it in the theater and still get it at home. I am. I'm just not planning currently to do an opening weekend. However,
I got opening night, so
I got so do I.
And currently, I'm undecided. I might. It totally could happen. Yeah, so Frosty said Black Widow's getting terrible reviews.
I don't trust IGN, Like IGN apparently gave it a bad review. IGN, I don't give a damn
Hey,
about
look, one
that
thing
thing
I've
no
learned,
more.
I take reviews with a grain of salt because that's just somebody's
Same
opinion.
here.
You know what I mean? So I like to go see it, play the game, whatever myself, and put my own judgment on it. So
same here.
I'm not even thinking about it.
What I have seen so far. Again, I tried to avoid them, but I can't.
You can't all. It's
so what I actually watched IGN's review, and realistically, the only thing they said about it that sounded like it was bad was the fact that they felt like the movie leaned too heavily into this is a female superhero tropes, like a woman gets knocked down and has to, you know what I'm saying, has to go back up kind of thing. Frosty said she does too, but it makes her worry about the attendance for it.
I don't think so.
And listen, and look, here's the thing. There are people who are going to go see it just because it's Marvel. There are people who are going to go see it just because it's Black Widow and they've been waiting to see her get a movie. There are people who are going to go see it just because they want to see it do better than Captain Marvel because people do not like Brie Larson. So like,
there's people going to see it just to get outside.
Facts, right? There are people who are just like, if you look at what's going to be available in the theater at that time, like realistically, if you look at what Fast 9 was up against,
it was by itself.
Because ain't nobody else want to get in this way.
Everybody made sure of that. It's like, oh no, we ain't doing that.
Let us have this time. We'll come out in 2 weeks.
I mean, listen, if you recall, Fast 9 pushed themselves out of the way of a couple of other movies because they knew. You know what I mean?
They pushed themselves way out of the way when they first delayed it. I think theirs was the only one
before the like COVID delay. Like they
they pushed that joke. I was like, oh,
hey, listen, Boss Baby
ain't gonna do that. Them type of numbers
could do okay,
but that joint's on Peacock.
It'll do okay because, like we said, you got kids. It's out for the summer and everything. Like it'll be fine.
Yeah, because he hasn't seen terrible. Along the line, some of the lower rated episodes in MCU Disney Plus series, well above average. I mean, again, I still think the potential for Black Widow to be better than everything else that's out at the time, super high, super duper high. I don't know if it'll do better than Shang Chi, because Shang Chi right now is looking like a threat. Super threat. So let's talk about the second Shang-Chi trailer. Jokes, have you seen it?
I sure as hell have.
Hey, dog, listen. There is potential here, and we're going to talk about Black Widow and how it might be tied to this too, but there's potential here. This joint is posing the kind of threat that I don't think a Marvel joint has in a long time, simply because Abomination. Hey, dog, look, for all intents and purposes, Abomination being in this trailer, it could be a throwaway scene. Look, they do stuff like this all the time. My man might not even really be in this joint, dog.
That's cutting room floor stuff. That joint made the cut. Hey, just throw that joint in the trailer. Just throw it in there. Why?
We know what they do with their trailers.
We only put the few minutes in there. Throw that joint in the trailer.
He bugging right
listen, J. Robert Deans, I think you're right. I think Shang-Chi for the AAPI community is going to be a big deal, like Black Panther was for the Black community. And but even outside of that, just the kind of buzz right now. One of the things about Shang-Chi is we have no idea when it takes place. We don't know where it is in the timeline.
Right.
We don't know if it's a prequel. We have no idea what's going on as far as that's concerned. What we do know is that we saw Abomination fighting in a cage match against Wong. Against Wong from Doctor Strange, who they just went back and redid the ending for WandaVision to add Doctor Strange, who we know has a movie coming up that is going to tie heavily into what is happening right now with Loki and the TVA and time.
Multiverse of Madness is going to
listen. We also know that Tim Roth, who played Abomination in the original movie, is in the cast for She-Hulk.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you didn't know that, Sin?
Nah.
Yeah.
My man is supposed to appear in She-Hulk.
Okay.
And we don't know when this happens. We have no idea.
Yeah, the timeline. Yeah.
It's killing me, dog.
I feel
I'm
you.
just going sweating like, what? All right, what are y'all doing? Shang-Chi looks the closest thing to Avatar: The Last Airbender. I mean, yeah, if they did it right. Is that what you mean? Like if they did it right?
I hope that's what he means.
Listen, Leah, I hope the results come back. Well, I'm glad the CAT scan is done. Yeah, I don't listen when they can't get the vein the first goes through. That's not the way we want to do it. Marcus says bring back Norton. So let's talk about that for a second. I want to talk about this for a second. Not because Marcus is actually on to something, but because if Norton could be a variant.
I was about to say, I'm
just saying, like
variants.
Hey, listen. Oh, and by the way, okay.
Damn.
Now you wildin'.
Edward Norton as Hulk was fire. I loved him as
you take that uncanny nerve 5 up, 3 down crap out of here. Edward Norton was a god as the Hulk.
He was great.
He was great. But again,
I will take him as a variant. I will gladly.
I view him with rose-colored glasses because that version of the Hulk was really a love letter to the old show.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a lot of stuff that just harkened back directly to the old show. And so there are things that are in there that, like, if you never watched the old show, you just can't. You just
can't appreciate for it.
But listen, Frosty, I'm all about it. If you would like to record an unpopular opinion,
Norton's an ass,
and get that posted, let's do it. J. Robert Deans, I don't care if he's an ass. I only care
that my man was
good as the Hulk. Like that's all. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to talk to him. Like
right.
To have a like. You know what I mean? Like
he's not my hero, so it's not like I want to meet him to get shot down one. If he's an ass, he's an ass. But hey, that ass is a good. Well, that ain't saying it right. It's a good, incredible Hulk.
Like what you doing? Listen, he's not America's ass. Like we not like
no, not at all.
Here's what I want to know: is the Dark Avengers coming? Because Abomination.
I think we got a good lead in. I think there's so many pieces of different puzzles that are like out there right now that it's like you think they're forming one thing, but it seems like the pieces could be placing to build something else. But at the same time, building up these multiple things to start to give us what things are going to be looking like fleshed out for the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So, Feige's planting these seeds, and whether it turns out it's another movie or maybe it's another show that we haven't gotten just yet. Sure. Like these seeds are just being, and they're going to keep us in. Just like talking to going to see Black Widow, you just going to see Black Widow because it's MCU, and you know somehow this is going to have an effect somewhere. You think at some point, and that's what they're doing. And the fact that Abomination is in this trailer, like if you were someone that watched that Incredible Hulk and then didn't necessarily tie it to the MCU, you're kind of like, whoa, wait. Who is this dude and why is Wong fighting? The only thing you may know is Wong.
Maybe.
And Wong by himself, you already been like, okay, hold up.
By himself. Was Doctor Strange still dusted when this happened? Why does it look like they're fighting in Madripoor, which they introduced to us in Falcon and Winter Soldier? Madripoor is so key to mutants. Like they overdoing it right now.
Wong needs money. He ain't have enough to give Strange the mouth go buy him a sandwich. So, hey, this is probably what he did right afterwards to try to make some money.
Could be.
Who knows?
Could be. Hey, listen, and Cuddy, Eric Bana did an incredible job as the first Hulk. That was not his fault. That was just the way the movie was shot. We got to put that one on Ang Lee, and that movie's actually not that bad. It just takes too long for us to get to the Hulk. As far as this is concerned, J. Robert Deans, let me explain something to you about Edward Norton trying to tell Marvel what to do. If you look at the MCU is based around the Hulk. MCU is based around the Hulk. He was technically their first big one before Iron Man. Right? Everything they did was about, we have to get the Hulk. We need to have the Hulk. Oh, you can't beat us because we have a Hulk. Like, they just didn't have the rights to the Hulk. If Marvel had the rights to the Hulk,
different story.
Including the fact that Captain America, the Super Soldier Serum, and what is the Hulk is based on Captain America and Super, like, it is based around the Hulk. The Hulk is integral to what the MCU is. Probably Norton was right. And they probably listened to him and just didn't do it with him because he wanted more money than they were willing to give him, which, you know,
he knew where things were going.
Only panned out because they were able to pay somebody else less money than he would have had to get. Because let's just be real, Norton was already an actor that could ask for more money.
Yeah.
Period. So, including Norton could ask for more money than Robert Downey Jr. could. Robert Downey Jr.
was a gamble at that time.
Was a super gamble.
It was a gamble.
Yeah.
So if you were going to do the MCU and base it on somebody and have some kind of star power in it, Norton was where it was. That's just plain and simple. So I don't know that you can consider him an ass for making those kind of suggestions and wanting to be a part of it and wanting money for doing so. Now, Terrence Howard, man, if you don't get your simple ass out of here.
Maybe next time.
No, never next time.
Offline for 5 years.
Hey, listen. Look, you might be right. She-Hulk probably is going to get better treatment.
They got control over it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing. The difference is that the difference between then and now is that Disney Plus exists. And Marvel is in a position to create shows around characters like the Hulk, which the issue for them is that while they have the rights to use the Hulk in movies, they don't have the rights to make Hulk movies. Only Universal had those rights. And Norton had to deal with Universal. So the fact that they have the right to make Hulk movies, but the MCU can use the Hulk in movies, but can't make a Hulk movie, means that if Disney Plus had existed then, they would have made a Hulk show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they would have built everything around the Hulk. Because realistically, the Hulk is an older, more tried and true, and more popular character than Iron Man ever was at the time they decided to greenlight an Iron Man movie. Period. That's just what it is. So the strength of Robert Downey Jr. being the drunken actor that he was and bringing that to the table sold Tony Stark to a point where they were actually able to bet on more Tony Stark and more on Iron Man than they ever would have otherwise. But certainly the intention was for it to be built around the Hulk in the first place. Yeah, I mean, look, even now, I don't know if that's completely true. Like at the time, yeah, because what Disney and Marvel were trying to do was still very untested, very, you know what I mean? Like it just, but like realistically, they ended up paying Scarlett Johansson more money. Like they had to bring her up to what they were paying her male counterparts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And realistically, okay, let's think about this for a second. Realistically, this is less about whether or not a woman deserves to get paid the same as a man who does the same job, and more about whether or not you have three actors that have multiple movies already that you've made money on, and do you pay them more because they are bringing people in? You know what I'm saying? And so how that works. The decision to, like, they could have gotten rid of Scarlett Johansson and brought somebody else in for Black Widow. It looks like they can ready to do that now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They really could have. They literally could have just been like, oh yeah, that was one of the alter egos she uses. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. And that's what she looked like. Here's a little face pull off thing. This is what she really looks like. We brought somebody else in, Slim. We get rid of you if we want to. You know what I mean? They could have. They didn't. So like all of that stuff is still out and about. You know what, Jokes? Curveball. Do you believe in aliens?
I believe in aliens.
Sin? You believe in aliens?
Yeah.
Okay. We're all on the same page. Now I don't need to go no further. I just asking a question.
Okay.
I just asking a question. Hey, look. We gotta debut a new show. We're gonna debut right, Frosty. They live in the ocean. They're called octopi. I have to talk to you for a second, Jokes.
Yo.
Explain this to me.
Oh, yes, Reebok.
Explain this to me, dog.
So, Reebok, in collaboration with Power Rangers, now has a sneaker for each Ranger. Also, there's one more as well, too, because they have one for the Megazord as well.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
No, I saw that.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't know if them Jones up there with them One Piece sketches, dog. Them Jones ugly as hell.
I will admit,
the yellow joint actually
Yellow Ranger joint and the Megazord ones are the only two that I mess with the most so far.
Nah, the red joint is okay, and the pink Ranger joint is not bad. The red tongue on the pink Ranger joint is disgusting, though.
I don't know that one's super weird. I can't. There's no red and pink Ranger anything, so lost. But yeah, I'm amped. Like, even though I'm probably only going to end up with like one pair of these, because
one pair of each, dog.
No.
You old target audience.
Keep it real.
Nah, pockets ain't that deep, cuss right now.
Yeah, perp.
But nah, I a lot of everyone now starting to jump on the OG Power Ranger bandwagon a lot more heavier. I really dig them. I probably will only end up with the Megazord jumps though. But I will tell you though, the reason why you want to have all of them though is because
Philly right there.
Hey, if you take the shoe boxes, apparently the shoe boxes you can break them down. And the boxes come together
actually form
and it formed the Megazord. I was like,
so don't sit here and act like you ain't about to get all of them. Shut up.
Dude, I ain't even gonna probably be able to be that lucky to even get in there. I'm probably going to buy them like one at a time if I could even do it.
Hey, no, this is the only thing. Y'all know green's my favorite color. Where the Green Ranger joint at?
I was wondering the same thing. They gonna probably do the Green Ranger joint as like some super special edition, something one-off that you're only going to be able to get from certain places. I don't know what it is.
Facts. My man is going to go listen. My man is going to buy the boxes, dog. Like, he ain't getting no.
I have an actual Megazord. I don't need the box. I'm good.
I don't believe you, dog. I don't believe you, dog. I don't believe you, dog. Listen, I know right now, your birthday next week. I know right now you've been putting in calls. Hey, dog.
What?
I need these shoe boxes.
Hey, facts.
Hey, listen, you right. They not better than the Lego Adidas. Getting them joints tomorrow, that has to happen.
Perp, you right on it. Them Green Ranger jump. Hey, the Green Ranger jumps probably do fold into the fleet.
Hey, listen, that right there, that's clean, though.
They probably do fold into the flute.
When this jump playing that flute right now.
But I was trying to think of what they would do, like, especially, there's nothing right now of the, Marcus, you bought the AEW title? You pre-ordered that, John?
Hey, listen, let them have it.
Dog, you burned the hole, but I ain't gonna lie, I want that, John. But hey, my only thing, I'm waiting right now because I can get that jump from like a different belt company. Like my boy, Jonathan actually won that jump, and it looks awesome. But the AEW jump won't ship out until beginning of next year, so you can get the other jump probably from the actual dude that like designed some of the WWE championship belts. So like actual legit. I don't believe
it's all. Where your Green Ranger helmet at?
I don't know. That I gave up on that jump. I got a Red Ranger jump though over here. It is the cheap. It's the cheap plastic that Bandai released.
Your head.
It does fit. Yes, it does.
It used to fit, or it does fit.
No, it does.
That's how you put it on.
It's been a while.
I see him looking at it. You see him looking at it. I follow that joint like
I go get that joint.
Try that joint on.
That joint does fit though.
Listen, while you go get that,
go get it.
I'm getting ready to debut this new show. So if you're in Patreon, you may have seen this already because I dropped this in Patreon earlier today. Well, actually, I dropped the full 4-minute version. I've been telling y'all that we've been working on a new series called Show and Tell. We have some things in the works, Lego builds, and just showing off some of the stuff that we have that we've been as collectors and so forth. So we're gonna take the next minute and check this out. So here it is. And there you have it.
Clean.
And there he is, y'all.
Just know I can barely hear y'all.
Red Ranger in the building.
And you know the worst thing about them helmets is how they mouth is built into them joints like
Yeah.
Oh snap, dog! Hey, you need some Daft Punk on that joint. My man late Ty, just in time for the debut.
Right.
Hey, listen, that joint is going on the TikTok. It's going up today for sure. Yeah, do it, Joe. Say it. Movie time. Say it.
It's movie time.
Hey, dog, that makes me happy, dog, and I don't know why. Oh shoot. Yeah, hey, jokes went away, man. He went away. Hey, jokes. I feel like somewhere in the house you got like a tube with Zordon's head in it. You know what I'm saying?
Somewhere.
If I tell you right now, on top of my the joint that used to have my old Magnavox TV in it, that had like the old consoles hooked up to, I literally have the command center sitting up on top of that joint.
Oh, my man. Hey, listen, get that joint ready for show and tell, bro. Hey, so listen, yeah, like the show and tell joint is really about us just kind of again as like geeks, like we're also like collectors. Like we just, I don't know, it's in our blood for some reason. And so we want to kind of just show off some of the stuff that we have. In a lot of cases, what you'll get is us actually talking about the things that we have, where they came from, why we love them, what sparked our interest in it. But on that note, I want to actually ask y'all, why do you think we collect? Like, why do we collect things? You know what I mean? That for us.
I mean, it's just part of the stuff that we love. I mean, the biggest thing is part of the stuff that we love.
Yeah.
And just having, whether it's, something we grew up with, we just enjoyed or whatnot. Of like, for me, obviously Power Rangers, you know what? I grew up with this. This is a cement on me. So I will have same thing along the lines with Pokemon. Like it's just a part of me. It's engraved in my DNA. And when I can have certain elements and certain things to myself of that product or whatever, it just makes it makes me feel good. Like
I did that.
Yeah,
sentimental value, little piece of something we love. What about you, Sin?
I mean, I feel like it's dope having something like physical to hold of some fandom that you like watch, like One Piece. I got figures and all that type of stuff from something I actually get to hold and touch, or stuff I get to wear to just show and go out in public and represent. You know what I'm saying? The shows and fandoms that I love, especially something like this, where a real fan would know it if they saw it. People just think it's a random,
right.
Right. Yeah, I love shirts like that don't like say Dragon Ball Z. It might have Suicide Squad and the characters on it. You get the reference. Somebody can see that and be like, oh, that's cool. Ha! I know you're a fan because you got the reference. Now we can have a conversation and talk. Like I love it. I just love having my stuff and being able to show it off. Yeah.
I dig it.
Tangible reminder things, definitely.
Having tangible reminders of things. I think this is important. Hoarding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think that's the thing. Like realistically, I'm actually thinking about turning a segment about collecting and why we do it into a panel. For us to do it at some future events. I think it is something that is so integral to who we are as people, especially as like lovers of pop culture and geek stuff. Certainly I think that some of what Mark has said, in terms of like also like the future profit, that like you collect comic books and you hope maybe one day that you can sell them.
One day you'll be able to take on something. Yeah.
Pokemon cards or something like that. Right. Mom definitely has some stuff. That's for sure. Vintage tees go for a lot. So it's collecting tees. Like I have a ton of t-shirts. You know what I mean? Look, it's been a thing for a long time.
I'm the same way too. Funko Pops.
I also think it's important, like what it is that we do with our stuff, right? Like most of her pops have never left the box. Mine either. Like the only pops I have that have ever come out of their box are ones that people gave to me already that way. But then I know that there are also people who choose to display them outside of the box. And like the difference in what that means to somebody versus what it does, and whether or not having it displayed in the box is one of those remnants that's left over of like, well, if it's out of the box, it's not worth as much. Even if you never plan on selling it, you know what I mean, or whatever.
That ain't true.
Just that it makes it easier to display because they're in the box
down here.
You know, stuff like that. Cuddy says part of it for him was not growing up and not having the money to get some of the things that he liked, and now he can afford to get what he wants. I think that's also
facts.
super important.
That is facts.
I mean,
and you know what I'll use as a good example for that? For Power Rangers, they started releasing all the die-cast versions of like all the stuff that I had as a kid. So the Green Ranger dagger, like, was a plastic joint as a kid. They released a whole entire metal version of that joint, like actual size. That joint. I actually got the Red Ranger Power Sword over here too. Hey, but here's the thing though. Let me tell you about the Power Sword right quick before I don't want to go in. So that joint like was supposed to retail for like $150. So someone, I think I told you guys the story. Someone goofed on Target.com and thought that was the kid plastic one that they had also as well too.
So at the wrong price.
I got it joint for $19.99.
Oh, nice.
So there's two of them over there.
Nice.
I was scared they were gonna cancel the order, and then I just had these two tall boxes just show up at the front door, and I was like,
look what I did. I mean, that's great, man. Marcus said he can't get on Twitch. She just wants you to get on Twitch so she can kick you out, dog. I'm just
gonna pop in there and say, "Hey," and you done.
And if y'all remember in the chat from last week, the challenge has been completed all the way through.
Oh yeah. Oh, and there's video on both accounts.
Yes, there is.
We'll be making sure that hits. Yeah, I really do think that that us having a longer conversation about collecting and why we collect and why stuff is important to us and where we put them and finding space to put those things. And you know, people go the you know, buying really expensive display cases to have places to put them, and you know, whether it's books, comic books, or even, you know, like regular hardbound books, or it's, you know, again, toys, figures, statues, statuettes, video games, whatever it is. Like,
I just found a case online to start displaying my stuff. I'm gonna buy a glass case, tall one.
Yeah,
to start putting all my statues and stuff like that in there. So yeah, that's
I literally. I looked. Somebody posted today that they finally got a case to put all their stuff, and I was like, yeah, man. Like, I think stuff like that is important, and it's important to us, not just to have. I think a lot of times we just do it and we have it, and then we don't have a place to display it, or we don't have enough space to display, and we have to rotate things in and out and that kind of thing. So I definitely think that would be, I think it'll be a really good panel. Y'all let us know, man. Shoot us messages and let us know if you think that could be a good panel. Would you come to see something like that live?
Yeah, definitely. I'll bring a couple of things
coming soon. Awesome Con, and we have one coming up at Stellar Con, and so stuff like that. I think that'll be important. Rosie said I spent the same amount of money on a custom case that I did on a statue going in it. Yeah, I mean that's a thing. That's really a thing. Frosty is going to be a huge Twitch personality. And so just tell him no, he can't have a signature now. You know what I mean? He's going to have to be satisfied with the fact that he made you eat Burger King.
Hey. And this video of
it's all on film. You know what I mean? Like, it's already captured. J. Robert Dean said, "Get to my age and collecting isn't as important, and you find yourself wanting less things and more memories." You know what? Here's the thing, J. Robert Dean's. I think that those two things go hand in hand, though. I mean, a lot of people are saying that they collect for the memories. You know what I mean? There are people who are collecting things now, so that they remember things that they had as children, or, you know, as things are re-released. You know, maybe when we were kids, it was a toy that came on a cardboard backing with plastic in the front, and now you can buy a collector's version of something like that. I think that is all probably something more that has to do with space. But I do think that having those memories correct, you know, collecting and keeping some of those memories is also important. But I also think that it is important that, yes, some things as you get older become less important. There was a time when I was in a huge advocate. I have a huge DVD collection. You know what I'm saying? Like, huge Blu-ray collection, a huge physical video game collection, and now it's like I still collect, but they're digital. You know what I mean? Like, it's all there. I can still see it all. Ownership is a different thing, but it also does make it not tangible. You know what I mean? Which goes back to what was being said before about, you know, wanting to have something tangible. to go with it. You know, for a lot of us when we were kids, maybe it was just posters. You know, that was what you could get. You could get a magazine and there would be posters, and you would put posters all over your wall or whatever. And you never really wanted to take them down, like that kind of thing.
Perp, you talking about the manga? Because I'm pretty sure they actually released that jump. I'm pretty sure
Attack on Titan manga.
If I'm not mistaken, when they announced
version of it too.
There's a color jump, there's a color one, and then there's also that giant one of the last one.
Yeah,
I know that jump sold out, but
one or whatever.
Yeah, but I believe when they released the last volume, they also announced the whole Attack on Titan run as well too. So maybe you know what? Maybe it was announced and they hadn't released it yet, but I'm pretty sure that they at least announced it though.
Yeah. I guess here's the thing. The question for me, Perk, was something like that. Like if my man said, I don't care if it's $500, would you read it? Do you open it? See, like one of the things that I went through as a collector of comic books early on was like I had to buy 2 of everything. I gotta keep one I can read and one that stays in the bag and board that never gets opened and never gets touched. Blah blah blah. That was I had to learn as a collector. Coming up, I had plenty of books that I just read over and over and over and over again, and a lot of them are would-be collectors. I have stuff that most people don't have or people don't remember, and stuff like that. Like I was collecting like Jade Man comics, old school stuff like Blood Dynasty and like just all kinds of stuff like that. And I didn't really know that bags and boards were that important. And trust me when I tell you, I'd go to the comic book store and the people behind the counter were always trying to sell me bags and boards. And always just felt like trying to get extra money out of me.
Extra little add-on.
Dog, get out my face. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm spending my allowance right now. I just spent it at the movies and I had to buy popcorn, and that popcorn was always expensive. And you're not about to get this extra 25 cents for this backing. You know what I mean? I'll buy a bag. I don't want no board. I'll buy a bag.
That's how the feeling. That's why I had a feeling you somehow, Perk.
I respect that. I'm a reader. I want the stories.
They always do
the anime.
There'll be a Blu-ray box set, just like they did with trying to think what set they did that with.
Hey Marcus,
because I hate those little.
If it's up, take it down. You can have the poster, but if it's up, take that down, sir. Unless you can recite all the words for me right now.
Oh, there you go. But yeah, Perp, I hate these the way that they're doing stuff now. It's like season 1, part 1, season 1, part 2. Yeah. And they release them and it's like
that's how they do to get that money,
episodes. Man. Like it sucks, but it's how they do it. I eventually had to wait for like that for Gundam. Like Gundam Wing, I finally bought the Blu-ray box set. I bought the smaller ones, like they had the big box. But I just bought the 2. They had like episodes 1 through 25 and then 26 through 50. Like it was just much easier that way versus buying it because it was like $40 or $50 just for like episodes like 1 through 10 at one point in time. It was stupid.
Yeah.
They bust you over the head.
J. Robert Deans, I think this is important. You're a reader and you want the stories, but you're also a storyteller. And here's the thing. I think even for somebody like you as a creator, you have to think about how important it might be for that kid who's given your books, one of your books, and then decides or feels like they want or need to have the entire collection, that they want to display the collection of the characters that you created in the books that you made, that somebody may, and rightfully so, should want to display that and have them to keep in that way. And so, yeah, maybe they're collecting the stories, but for a lot of people, it is about, I want the entire collection. I don't even like this particular issue, or I don't really like this episode, but the collection.
But you need it all. You gotta have
it. I don't have it all. You know what I mean? It stuff like that. It matters. Okay, what is this? What are we getting into? Anybody started SDS season 5?
Call me stupid. What's SD? What's
that? Trying to figure out what SDS is.
See?
I'm racking my brain trying to figure it out.
I know, really. I'm
sitting here trying. My wall full of Jet magazine. Love going to the barbershop as a kid. Hey, listen, bro. There's some Jet Beauty of the Week joints you probably got somewhere tucked away. You know what I mean? I'm sure I got at least one signed joint. You know what I mean? At least one signed joint. Start putting anime on 4K disc.
There's a couple. I will tell you, I am getting ready to pull the trigger.
No, Zane, I haven't started.
No,
yet.
have not. Weathering with You, which is probably one of the best anime jokes that's come out in the last few years. That joint had a 4K release.
Gorgeous.
But let me tell you how you are getting slammed over the head with a brick. That joint is $80. That joint is $80 for that joint. Don't get me wrong. That art book and stuff that comes in that thing, gorgeous.
Hey, jokes.
Would you pay $80 for the art book?
I would.
By itself?
I would. Like the art from that thing is absolutely phenomenal. I had my hands on the collector's edition, like, or that special edition of it. I just didn't buy it at the time, but it's clean.
Yeah, apparently collecting is important to us, and we might have a lot of stuff to show y'all for show and tell. And we might need to turn this into a panel. Like, I think it'll be really cool to talk with people about the stuff they collect and why they started collecting, where they got it from. I certainly believe that I got the bug from my mother and her mother, you know what I mean, who were both collectors. So, you know, I think it'll be it could be a very interesting discussion. We may have to look at making that a thing. Robert Dean said art books are a weakness for him. Obviously, I totally get it. Totally get it. You know what I mean? There are people who collect coffee books, you know, to display on a coffee table. They don't even have coffee tables anymore. Like people like you don't even have a coffee table. You know, never put a book out on it or whatever, right? It just sometimes those kinds of things are created just for that sake. So look, we got to wrap this one up, and I'm going to tell you why. Because as soon as we get done doing this, we got to record a new episode of Spoiler Boys.
Spoiler Boys. Hey, look, real quick,
4.
before we get, I got a question to ask to some of the members in the chat. So for Zayna, Perp, and Marcus, I just need to know if y'all seen the Chainsaw Man trailer. That's all I need to know. Yeah, jokes. Yeah.
Y'all answer. Did y'all see the Chainsaw Man trailer?
Yeah.
And does it have anything to do with horror? Because I'm gonna assume not, since he's asking about it.
No. Nope. The new big anime getting ready to drop.
I had that Marvel How to Draw intro sketchbook growing up, man. I had that. I probably got it when I was in like 7th grade, 8th grade, or something like that. It was a big deal. Like my friends were all of my friends growing up were all artists. They all do stuff. They all do comic books now, or they work at animation studios, Warner Brothers, and like all the people I grew up with. Like I was the only person that technically, like, I did draw, but I wasn't anywhere near as talented as they were. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like a dream for me to chase. For me, it was more music than it was, but a lot of them did music too. So yeah. And Marcus said he has, so at least he's seen it.
That thing gonna be sick.
Dog Mappa, like, I don't know how these guys are doing it, because they literally have like 4 projects coming out within like the next year.
They just gotta have a big enough team, man.
They got like 2 movies, like two
shows, 2 movies.
I'm in there day one.
Not to mention like Jujutsu Kaisen movie. I don't even think we put that in.
Yeah, they're working overdrive right now. Yeah, but Lord, what they're putting out is so amazing.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap this one up because we got some recording we need to do. And Jokes, you got a job to do.
I got you.
I'm y'all already know the drill. Follow us everywhere. Jump on that link tree. Right now, if you are a member of the movie club and you would like to get a shirt, movie club shirts are currently up and available. They are only available until Monday. Monday to Monday, 1 week. So if you'd like to have one, you should jump on that and grab it. We certainly would hope that anybody who has taken the plunge decided to join us for Black Widow live and in person on July 18th. You get your shirt now. You should get it in time to be able to wear it there. That would be awesome. If you have not joined the movie club and you are interested in us having in-depth conversations about individual movies once a month, that is somewhere you should go. So definitely go search the Loading Stacks Movie Club. Right now, there's about 40 people in there. And that's actually more people than I was expecting to be in
like there. At least that's right now.
And we still have some information we're going to drop on that. Tomorrow, after we shoot cutscenes, we're doing another video. The 3 of us, our 2 other hosts, Frosty and Kay, who you never get to see. He's always behind the scenes, but is the person who cut that Lego video together for me. and did the music that y'all hear when the shows are getting ready and so forth. He's going to be a part of that. So we're all going to get together. We're going to do a discussion. That discussion will be not just about Movie Club, what it is, why we're doing it, and how it will work, but we are also going to do our predictions for Black Widow. So that will go live in Movie Club once we get that done. So that's going to happen tomorrow evening. You probably won't see it go live until, I don't know, Friday or Saturday. But we're going to do that. So again, keep your eyes on Movie Club because that's the thing, and it's growing a little faster than we were expecting. But we are really, really glad to have people there, so we can have some really, really great conversations somewhere other than just here, where we kind of have to touch base on everything. It'll be nice to be able to just have a full conversation about one thing. We know we're going to watch a lot of the Marvel movies, but we also are, people have been sending ideas to us for movies that they think should be ones that we should watch, and we'll be putting it to a vote within Movie Chat so that people can decide what movie they want for certain months. So we'll be doing that too. So just keep your eyes open on that. If you are not a Patreon member, let me just let you know you are missing out on some content. Listen, there are people who come in here and talk about Spoiler Boys every week. But most of them are seeing the whole show, which is like an hour, somewhere between 40 minutes and an hour. And we have a tendency to go in depth, do a lot of predictions, talk a lot about the Easter eggs and things that are happening in the shows. Right now, it's pretty easy for us to just keep doing them for things like the Marvel shows. But there will be other stuff as it comes down the line that we'll do that for. So just bear that in mind. There are a couple other things. Again, we debuted the full 4-minute version of that Lego video is in Patreon now. That'll go live. It actually will go live tonight, the full version, and the 1-minute version will hit our socials this evening as well. It'll just be late when it does, but that's definitely going to happen. I want to wish everybody a very happy end to this Pride Month, for sure. Love is love. We haven't really talked about it, but we definitely think it's important. We love all of you and want everybody to be able to make decisions that impact their own lives in the ways that they want to do so. Having said that, Sin, you got a job to do?
Yes, sir. So let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, and Tyrone Carson. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate it.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, Cuddy coming for you already. You know what I mean?
Cuddy got jokes. I know. It's all good. Yeah. It's all good.
I like it. Listen, we greatly appreciate y'all. We appreciate everybody in Patreon, but you got to be at a certain tier to get the shout out. We got a couple other things that we're brewing for Patreon. Again, there are already some other show and tell joints in the bag. Sin has a couple joints in there. Jokes has a couple joints in there. I got a couple joints that are getting ready to come. So we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep showing off what we have. With that, I appreciate all of you being here. We got a little something else to record. So with that, tonight we are out. We'll see y'all tomorrow at the same time for Cutscenes, Toodles and Loos.